So today we're going to actually be doing something a little bit different. We are going to be installing a bow mount, One Objective bow mount on the kayak that you see right here. And then before that, actually, we are going to install the MotorGuide quick release bracket onto that mount. And I'll kind of walk you through that. All right, so you need two things for this. Obviously, you're going to need the One Objective bow mount for your kayak. Specifically, we're doing the Hobie PA 14 today. That includes the actual mount here, and they include the hardware necessary for that. And this is the hardware that you actually need to use to install it. The mount and actually the quick release bracket. You won't end up using any of that hardware. So and then obviously you need the MotorGuide quick release bracket, assuming that you're using a MotorGuide trolling motor. And that includes obviously instructions, all of this hardware, which you pretty much use none of it, I believe, except for this little part right here. And then it'll include the actual quick release bracket, which has 3 parts on it. So this is actually what you will pull out to release your trolling motor. This part that'll actually get installed on the trolling motor. And then this part that we're actually going to install onto the One Objective mount. So I'll kind of walk you through that as I go through it myself, and I think it's a pretty quick, easy install. So here we go. All right, so as you kind of see here, kind of have everything set up that we need for this. So we have the One Objective hardware that came with the bow mount itself. We have the bottom part of the MotorGuide quick release bracket, the One Objective mount, and then Allen wrench. So take these out of here, lay everything out. Stick right there, don't need that. All right, so you should have 4 of these, I actually don't know what they're called, bolt inserts. And what these are going to do is they're actually going to go in the very bottom here, and they're going to be held up in there from the bolt, so it's all flush on the kayak then. And then we got the 4 bolts that we'll be using. So this is the hardware that you need to install a quick release bracket. That's it right there. It's nothing crazy, just those 8 things. So all right, so first thing we're going to do, we're just going to insert the bolts. 4 little spots here. You do want to make sure it's on the side that has the cutouts already, so it's all flush. That's important. And then we're going to reach around on the back side here. We're going to, just so you can kind of see what I'm doing, I'm inserting that there, and then I'm going to tighten that up from the top as I hold it from the bottom. Like I said, bolt goes through there, insert goes there, twist it on. And that's really about it. So now I'm gonna tighten this up so it's all flush. That's kind of the point of these, is have it nice and flush, and then we'll go ahead and put that onto the kayak itself. that should do it. So flush on the top here. Everything's flush on the bottom. Those are nice and snug in there. So they'll lay flat on the kayak. And yeah, that's how you install the MotorGuide quick release bracket onto the One Objective bow mount. So now we're gonna actually take the mount for the kayak and go ahead and install that. So, all right, so we have our One Objective bow mount for the Hobie PA 14 with the MotorGuide quick release bracket installed now. Pretty straightforward, like 3 minutes to do it. Very quick and easy. So the remaining components that we have, or hardware that came with the One Objective mount, are those 4 bolts and then 2 screws. For the bolts, I don't know yet, but I believe we're going to end up using the longer ones because we actually still want to keep our handle on there, and then it also needs to go through this side. So I think the shorter ones are maybe if you don't intend to keep the handle on there and just use that mount itself. So anyways, the part we're going to do now is we'll just quickly take off this handle, and then we'll take the handle off, and then there's 2 screws, one here and one here, that we have to remove as well, because the back part of the mount goes there. So we'll kind of get everything removed and then get that all set up. So, all right, here we go. Hopefully you can see all that. So fairly easy to get those removed. We have our handle, and you can obviously see these are pretty short. We're not going to end up using these, so we'll set those aside for now. Get our handle there. Like I said, there's 2 screws that we have to replace now, so we're going to go ahead and remove the factory ones. And to do that, they're actually underneath these little straps here, as you can see. What I would do is I'd recommend taking off your little bungees here, and so you can lift this up, and then we can get a little more slack in it to actually get in there and get those removed. So, all right, so now we're going to go ahead and remove the factory screws. So there's a screw and the washer. So set those aside. We're going to end up reusing that washer. And we'll get the other side now. Like I said, you got to kind of move the hatch around a little bit so you can get access to these. That's pretty easy to do. All right. All right, that's both of them removed. So now we got our straps and our hatch all set up now. So we'll go ahead and get the mount actually installed now. All right, so we have everything removed on the kayak that we needed to. We removed the screws for the straps on the hatch. The handle is removed. We got our MotorGuide quick release bracket installed on the One Objective bow mount. So all that's really left now is to install the actual mount itself onto the kayak. So that's what we're going to do. All right, so we're going to take our bow mount here, and we're going to insert our handle on there, kind of hold it on there, and then I'm going to put the longer bolts in. I believe it is the longer bolts that we want to use with this. So get those installed really quick. Yeah, it's definitely the longer bolts you want. You can see how those stick out there. be about the right length. So we got that. So now we're going to line those up and try to get those at least started. Just trying to get everything started until it's all lined up properly. Alright, we'll snug those up in a minute. So I was just getting the handle, the factory handle, onto the bow mount, and then putting the longer bolts in and getting that kind of all tightened up started. So that's pretty well on there already. So now the last part is we're going to put the straps back in using the longer screws that came with the One Objective mount, and then the factory washers. All right, so we're gonna go install the longer screws now. We left the front part here a little bit loose so you can kind of wiggle it to try and get it lined up with those holes, the factory holes that were already there. So grab our factory washer, slide the screw back through it, pop it through the strap here, and let's see if we can get that to line back up again. Might need to loosen the front up a little bit. There we go. Got it lined up in the hole that time. So the real important part about this is just trying to get it back lined up with a factory screw, and to do that you really need to leave this front portion kind of loose so you can maneuver it a little bit. Get the second one installed here. Snugging those up. All right, so now we got both the screws back installed. I'm going to go ahead and snug up the front part of it now, since everything's all right. That should do it. The only parts we didn't use were the shorter bolts that came. All right, so kind of do a quick recap of everything that's kind of left. So as I said, we actually don't need any of the MotorGuide quick release hardware. You use all the hardware that's supplied with the One Objective bow mount. This part, I don't have my motor yet. It's actually on back order, so but this actually goes in, is installed on the motor itself. And then here's your release pin for it. So that's kind of all that. We have the factory hardware remaining from the original Hobie handle and the straps. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep that. And then we have the leftover piece of hardware from the One Objective bow mount for what I suspect is if you want to install just the mount without the handle itself. And yeah, all you need is some Allen wrenches, a Phillips screwdriver, and 10-15 minutes of your time.